everyone in Katribu. My name is Vernon Velasco.
I'm Chito Losada.
This is a Straight Talk, and we're having today as guest National Privacy Commission Commissioner Raymund Liboro. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vernon, and
Good morning, sir.
to you, Chito. It's nice to be invited. Thank you.
It's our pleasure, sir.
Yeah. Sir, let's start on the most pressing issue of the day. It's the community pantry. Everybody has a field day helping each other. But then again, it was, the red letter day was red tagged as well. So, why do you think it's unjust profiling and, if you will, terrorism and abuse of police power?
Well, as you mentioned, Vernon, everyone is trying to help each other during the pandemic. I think that should be the overriding objective and aim of everybody, government, civil society during this period. I guess again in the case of the community pantry, we have a situation where clearly parang hindi nakapag-establish ng trust kaagad yung mga parties, but we have to improve on that, and correct that, because I think what is very important in this pandemic response is that we trust one another. Right, and really unjust and in the case, for example, we got reports that there are disproportionate collection of data happening on the ground, targeting community pantry organizers. So let me just state kung ano yung what we got, the information that we got. So, in a situation where there are police on the ground and you are a community organizer, I think we should be prevailed upon by reasonability. Reasonable ba? Halimbawa, ang collection na ginagawa or dun papasok ngayon that it becomes unjust, right? So sa atin, of course, ang isang community organizer at in relation halimbawa sa isang nagtatanong na police, true, right? Hindi naman ito ongoing crime, hindi naman ito hot pursuit, di ba? So the necessity of the information may not fall under that category. But is there also some necessity in asking for information, like your name or your phone number, if you are the organizer? So if I were the police na nakikita ko nagbi-build up din yung crowd, then it could be a reasonable exercise, right? To ask kung ano nga ba ang pangalan na nag-organize, just in case meron nga namang mangyari. So on the ground, Chito and Vernon, so privacy is really contextual. Let me just say that. So you can in that case, for example, yung police is just trying to maintain yung kanyang mandate, na halimbawa to magano ng order, At the same time, yung citizens then, is also expecting na proportionate din naman yung collection na gawin, di ba? So halimbawa kung grupo sila, baka maaari isa lang naman na magbigay ng pangalan at ng kanyang phone number. Kung yun naman din yung package. So in all this, yung nasabi ko lang, Vernon and Maxwell, dapat clear, ang ating lahat ng kapulisan, we have to be transparent with a purpose, right? That they have a legitimate purpose. If they have a legitimate purpose, they have to be transparent with that and collect only information that is proportional, again, to the aim. So lumalabas itong unjust and profiling or even unlawful if we are not being transparent with our aims in collecting data. If the purpose, for example, is not made clear, right, to the data subjects, and you are collecting disproportionate data from them. Kasi very important ngayon yan kasi kapag ganon, hindi ka nakakapag-establish ng tiwala dun sa citizenry mo. So again, let me just, di ba? Data gathering is not bad, right? Data gathering is part of government, no? Kayo rin sa media, right? But again, no, you have to be, if you talk about complying with the Data Privacy Act, it's about being transparent, being clear about your purpose, that you have a legitimate purpose. And again, just asking, no, kung ano lang yung processing the information that is necessary.
So, Mr.
Yeah.
Sir,
So, actually, we denounce all unlawful and unjust profiling, right, that leads to discrimination and stigma, and putting a tag on people and bias on them, right? And in that way, in that case, kasi, diba, we have rights. No, you have rights. Data subjects have rights. You have a right to be informed about how your data will be processed. You have a right to be to have access even to your data, and you have a right to object to data collection. However, again, now if you now factor in context,
yes.
right? That is now really a trust building between parties. No? So and looking at the aftermath of that, Chito and Vernon, no? Immediately I think the chief PNP issued orders to look into that, no? Because they thought that it might really be excessive that on the ground, and the aim wasn't that clear. No? So they wanted to look into that. But so when you look at it and you see the responsiveness of organizations, diba? That is what privacy compliance is all about, right? So we want organizations and government agencies to be responsive, no? Kasi hindi naman din kaagad-agad the PNP, they have a data protection office. They made a courtesy call to us. I think that was mga three weeks ago, Chito. No? They have a whole office for data protection. So we see here an organization is also trying to do it right, or trying to get it right. No? And we're also we have been assisting them in this. No. So ganun po, and you see the responsiveness, and that really augurs well. And I think these are positive signs again of an organization responding, all right, to public sentiment, not only to public sentiment, but really looking at themselves in the mirror when it comes to data protection and privacy.
You are talking, sir, Mr. Liboro, of some excesses in the collection of data. Do you see any violation of the National Privacy Act with the way the police has accumulated data on the organizers of community pantry, sir?
In this case, again, we have actually, we have issued our statement on this. We have also we are conducting compliance checks on the PNP, right? So this has also triggered our compliance and monitoring team to do a compliance check on the PNP, right? Kasi dapat yan, kasi Chito, mag-fall na yan within their own privacy program.
Right.
We will check if they have conducted a privacy impact assessment on this type of collection. Kasi that is where you can identify the risks and even benefits of such collection. And through that kasi, then they will have the opportunity to correct it, Chito.
Right.
So I think that the public should know that and more than the statement, we also have mechanisms now on how to exact compliance, and monitor compliance of agencies like the PNP. So kami po ay nag-ano na sa kanila, inabisuhan na sila na meron po kaming i-conduct na compliance check sa PNP, and they will be asked to submit their privacy program Also to show yung privacy impact assessment of this particular collection and to demonstrate their compliance, no? So yun po yung mga mechanisms po natin in place dito, Chito, and it's ongoing.
Yeah. But for the benefit of practicality, let's set things straight. What's if we are to delimit it, what's appropriate data to be asked by the police? Kasi di ba it's one thing to ask for your name, your number, but it's quite a different story when they ask about your address, what's your
Leanings.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. No, leanings and political affiliations are sensitive personal information, right? It's a sensitive personal information. So, in which case, again, you have to look at the purpose of the collection and the context that it's on how it is being on why they have embarked on such processing. Okay, so it's very important ngayon that when we require them to submit their privacy impact assessments, makikita kasi yon. Now, ano ba ang necessity nito? Ano ba ang dahilan kung bakit kinokolekta ito? They better be ready to they must be ready to answer kung bakit ito kinokolekta and bakit why this is justified. But right now, again, I must tell you, Vernon, what we have received are tags on this na merong nagpapakita nga na may ganitong klaseng collection. So we have mechanisms within the National Privacy Commission to formally ask them this, right? And show and train their attention. Sila rin masabihan din namin na ito yung mga nakita na pinarating sa amin. So meron the National Privacy Commission has mechanisms dito para yung ating it's a formal response process so that we can arrive at a resolution that can address this problem in the long term. Right? So yun po yung ginagawa po. Sorry lang, merong right? So ganun. So in answer dyan, Vernon, again, we will, kung like itong ni-report nga namin, ni-report sa amin na pati daw Facebook, pati daw mga political affiliation kinukuha,
Right.
that has the PNP has to answer that. Kung bakit kinakailangan.
In other news, there's a buzz going around about, unfair debt collection and cyber harassment by online lending firms. So, what is the NPC doing about this?
Wow, actually, we have done a lot in this area. In fact, itong online lending applications and complaints attendant to these applications have actually occupied the NPC dockets in 2019. And we have approached this with a myriad of approaches to curb this. And let me just tell you, Chito and Renon, in 2019, we got almost 2,000 complaints. That are almost 2,000 cases were filed against these companies, and we have took down 26 online apps. Those who have operated. Subject to these complaints. We have 3 ongoing cases on the big online lending applications that we deem large scale talaga yung collection and napakaraming subject to numerous complaints. We have already come up with a determination on one, and we have recommended the prosecution of the officers of this online lending company operating an online lending application. So we have also reached out to the sectors, the finance, the fintech sector. So meron din sila ring resolution to police their own ranks, right? So there are, we have to make this distinction because there are online lending operators that are operating with compliance and accountability, and there are those that don't. So we continue to provide. We came up with a policy
Yes, sir.
on on these online lending applications. I think we are the only jurisdiction that actually came up with a policy really banning now the downloads of contacts
Downloading.
nitong mga online lending kasi doon nagsisimula siya nada-download yung contact sa mobile phone ng mga customers nila.
Is that
Tapos pag
illegal?
hindi nagbayad, kukontakin lahat yun. So we prohibited the downloads of contacts sa phone and even in social media. So kung meron pa tayong and what this has resulted to is the drastic drop in complaints and even cases filed. So we are monitoring, mabibilang mo rin at mabibilang mo yung bumagsak siya from hundreds to nagtiga ng thousands noong 2019. Now I just don't have the exact figures pero drastically siyang bumaba at and we continue to monitor if there are complaints coming out. And let me just use this again, your show. If you have viewers or may mga mismong may magrereklamo tungkol dito sa operation ng ganito ay sumangguni pa rin sa amin. So, as a National Privacy Commission, we approach privacy issues and privacy panics in a myriad of ways. So, but ultimately, what we want to happen is that we resolve in the long term how to mitigate itong mga risks being foisted by apps like this. So it's not only about prosecution, but that's again a very huge tool that we have. But we approach it by coming up with the proper policies, providing advice to those, especially those who are legitimately operating such businesses, giving information and guidance, right, and support, if necessary. So we also have again, one of the for complaints, for online lending, talagang doon na yung resources talaga ng NTC nasubukan ng husto dyan. But again, let me just report it out that
We're going to take a short break.
Operation of online lending apps.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Sir,
okay.
Hello, you still there? Sir,
yes, definitely. Unstable ba?
Yeah, sir.
A little.
Yeah, sir. Apropos of that situation, for your indulgence, Sir Chito, yeah. Isn't that what happens nowadays? Kasi di ba, these people in terms of targeted ads, let's say, in targeted ads, you look for something on Facebook, let's say shoes, and then the next thing you know, the next day, all of these ads related to shoes starts popping on your mobile phone. So,
correct.
Isn't that a violation or a breach, if you will, to the privacy of data subjects po?
Well, Vernon, the answer to that is if you agreed to their terms and conditions and the privacy policy, and that is part of their contract that that you entered into, right? Then they may invoke that that you have agreed to their but that is again pero kapag halimbawa hindi naman kapag illegal na rin yung meaning yung terms and conditions, that's another matter. But really, when you talk about information society service providers, ang tawag namin dyan ISS, meaning ang business model really talaga nila is to amass the most number of sign-ups, right? And then you become the product, diba? To advertisers, tingnan nila yan. So, then again, ang sinasabi din natin na dapat within lawful and legitimate bounds yung kanilang ginagawa, yung practices nila. So they must still again subscribe to the general privacy principles of transparency, legitimate purpose, and proportionality. So in the case of again ito mga and siguro going back when you say kasi pino-profile ka rin nila di ba?
Yes po.
Vernon and Shito
Right.
but it could be lawful dahil nga rin very clear doon sa kanilang na sinasabi nila na every time you go into our website di ba? We may ask information sa inyo para nga naman yung amin namang source of income or revenue which is advertisers ay makapag-advertise sa iyo. So sa atin, again, it's as an individual we have to be really circumspect when entering into ganito mga information society services but at the same time you're not helpless when you think that your rights are violated. For example, also like even the social media giants, of course, when they suffer security breaches, then we run after them because it is their obligation to ensure, right, that the appropriate security is applied. So in the case of Facebook, for example, we're earning billions in dollars. It is only it is expected that we should demand that they provide the appropriate and ironclad security sa data. So again, this is it's a good thing you asked that, Vernon. But again, just to the march, the technology march is really forging ahead, right? And there are so many emerging technologies that are that are coming up. These are all exciting, but at the same time, sabi ko nga, they offers very tremendous benefits, but they also pose risks. So we as a privacy commission, as a regulator, we remind everyone about this risk. We are not the gatekeepers of what cannot be done, right?
Right.
What we are here for is to sabi ko how even I define the privacies. How do we maximize the benefits of data and even personal data for good while minimizing risks and preventing harm, right? So technology, again, we can wield that to society's advantage, and nandito kami that the Filipinos can maximize or utilize these technologies for society's good.
You are watching Straight Talk with National Privacy Commissioner Raymund Liboro po.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
You are, yeah.
We're back.
Sir,
We're back.
Sir Chito, you throw the first question.
Right. The retrieval of data has become an issue also in the uh, uh, contact tracing of COVID-19 patients. And the private sector, the business groups have sought the suspension of the Data Privacy Act, so the authorities can collect data on the patients. But you are not inclined in giving into this. So what goes, sir?
Let me be specific, Jan. I think the private sector, when they say to suspend the Data Privacy Act, they really, well, based on their pronouncements, no, they want the names and identities of COVID-19 patients to be declared, disclosed to the public, right, to aid in contact tracing. Because otherwise, yung pong contact yung effort ng contact tracing and the government response to contact tracing, hindi lang po Data Privacy Act ang nag-ooperate dyan. You have the mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events, and there's already sharing of health data, no, among government for, again, for the purpose of contact tracing and sharing information for treatment of patients. So again, the move, I think, of the sector is to announce, no, you publicly disclose the names of patients, though, to aid the contact tracing, and the government is not inclined on giving in to these proposals, and we share that. We share this position of government. As you can see, sorry, I think it must be mentioned that we've started the pandemic with the stance that public health and data privacy are on the same side. They should not be pitted against each other. And privacy should not be a casualty in this pandemic response.
Yes.
Right? So the claim by certain business groups that waiving confidentiality will improve contact tracing efforts is really unfounded. And at times like this, we must really choose science over fear. And we have proven thus far that outing COVID-19 patients without their consent, it just shows mistrust, and fear, and drives away data subjects or patients from taking part in contact tracing.
That's correct.
Contact tracing efforts. So, and other countries have been coping and even winning over the pandemic without doing this, without resorting to this. So again, I must say that we have enough provisions in our law, right, to do efficient contact tracing. Okay. And and at the same time, provide the citizens with the privacy that they expect. So imagine this, Chito and Vernon. We already have now a million. We've passed the million mark of COVID-19 patients.
Yeah, we did yesterday.
Right. So imagine this: you have a million names of COVID positive patients floating around. If they want to. If they succeeded, for example, in outing or announcing these names, a million names floating around. So we and we all understand that COVID-19 is sabi nga ng isang journalist is it's discriminatory, and the stigma that could last forever, right?
Yeah.
So again, and really, it's very important that we see here that the DPA is a trust building mechanism between government and its people, right? So there's no point in suspending this law. Hindi na ako pupunta na hindi naman basta-basta masususpend ito, no, dahil Kongreso lang naman din ang kayang gumawa nito. No, but with the government stating that there's no point or necessary to tinker with the DPA right now is really recognizing that the DPA is a vital law to protect citizens during this time, to ensure in the long term that we establish a society and an economy built on trust and resilient at that.
Sir, in other news po, no, in terms of the recent breach on Facebook, outing 800,000 ad accounts and, putting them very susceptible to exploit. So, sir, may I know your thoughts? I mean,
Yeah.
when you log on the internet, is your data yours pa rin? And is there a way to decentralize it?
Vernon, yeah. Just to mention, no, I think we were among the first jurisdiction that really came out to look into this, no, into this recent, I would say incident involving Facebook. No? And we look at it again throughout our history of dealing with Facebook. No, tinitingnan din namin yung ano nito, yung development nito. But again, we're looking into this because of the sort of ambivalence of Facebook. No? They're trying to downplay this matter. No? And we thought that this is actually a serious matter that has to be looked into. Right? So we have an ongoing,
Sorry, sir.
investigation on
Can
this.
I interrupt you?
Chito, sorry.
You mentioned some ambivalence from Facebook. Can you be more specific, sir? What kind of ambivalence?
They're trying to downplay this as a case of what they call data scraping, right? And meaning that all the data that has been touted as coming from Facebook are all publicly accessible data, right? So Chito, Vernon, parang sinasabi nila free for all naman tong data to because people made this public. Right?
Yes, correct.
But we're trying now to look at the connection now of again, yung mga accounts before that have been alam niyo yung mga dating mga tinitingnan na rin namin about this dummy accounts, no? Tinitingnan din namin lahat yung possible interrelationship niyan. Because I think what should be now looked into is that data scraping is a new threat, no, to the public. Okay, meaning they now have algorithms that can siphon, no, itong mga data ito. For example, in your case, Chito, Vernon, lahat na mga dineclare yung publicly available personal data ninyo could really be siphoned, no, and aggregated to create a personal stack on you, a digital stack on you, Chito.
Yes.
So our team, we have a data security technology standards team is looking deeper into this data scraping because this should not be an exhaust pipe, no, for social media giants to say that they were scraped anyway from publicly available information. Right, so this is what we have been preparing for. No, this year, as we have announced, no, that technology at some point will be able to do that, to scrape everything what is out there, like your Vernon, kung meron kang if you have so many social media accounts, pictures that you've made public, na ngayon algorithms can actually scrape them and aggregate them and identify them and link them straight to you.
Yeah.
Right, but again, no, we talked about Chito ng ambivalence because really we're looking at responsibilities here, right? And Facebook cannot just say that we are not responsible for this, or or even think along those lines.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the bottom line here is this, right? Facebook it's a hyperscale business, right? It has sabi nga we are in the age of hyperscale businesses. Facebook subscribers is greater, no, than the population of continents combined. And they have a huge, large a responsibility to secure the data of their subscribers. And let me just say this, di ba? They are earning so much from advertisers here in the country,
Yeah.
right? Many of our advertisers, and they have directly competed with the media companies like you, right? So we should demand and expect the highest level of security on our data, and they cannot just dismiss it, right, and say that we may have nothing to do with this, or this has been addressed previously by plugging a bug, right, and all this available floating data here were public anyway, and that we don't have any responsibility.
Yeah.
So we will again take them to task for this, and we are looking into this.
So on that point, no, it's just thinking of what's ahead. You know, it makes you cringe really. Kasi I read somewhere that there's a technology that's coming, and all the technology needs is your face, and then it's going to lead everything to your information, sir. So, is there a way, sir, na in a way that we're always putting things public in our own volition? Is there a way to be incognito online?
Well, again, no, defending yourselves really starts with the person. But of course, with the under the principle of data privacy, and we have a law promoting such data privacy and protection. Now we now have rules, no, for and obligations, no, to companies that collect data. So two-pronged, individuals, right? We now really have to be on the lookout, no? Whenever we share our data, be aware of privacy settings, be aware of the information that you make public, because you're correct, we're not, right? And technology has caught up, meaning they continue to develop powerful technologies that can collect and aggregate all this data floating around. Okay? So tayo po, nung mga sa Facebook, di ba, huwag na tayo mag-overshare. And we've been announcing this. That love yourself online, protect yourself first. No? And in our website, we have guidance on how we can protect ourselves. So, but having said that, no, tayo na pinoprotektahan natin ang sarili natin, we are really now looking into accepting more accountability from social media giants and even the corporations, and even especially the government, on the way it processes personal data, right?
Are these giants cooperating with us? Or
sorry, Chito,
have they been cooperating with the National Privacy Commission?
You talk about Facebook?
Facebook.
You talk about Facebook? Yes.
Yeah. The
Yes,
social
I must say,
media giants.
To be fair, no, they have but again, we have meron kaming lines din sa kanila, may open lines kami sa kanila. And we're looking at their community standards every now and then to also look, no, kung how we can improve it, diba, or even suggest that they improve on the community standards. And as you can see, that Facebook is a private company. So whenever we enter into that, we're entering into a contract with a private company. Pero hindi po sila exempted dito sa Data Privacy Act. So we have been coordinating with them and really pushing the envelope when it comes to instituting measures to protect the Filipinas further in their platform.
Sir, in light of the national ID and the proposition to pre-register prepaid SIM cards po, it being, exposing to heightened data breaches po, whatever happened to that, sir?
Well, again, I think they're spending legislation about that. no?
Yes, po.
Uh, I think we have to look at the risks and benefits of doing such.
Mm.
Right now, the benefits probably has been stacked, meaning dahil uh, they're now looking into more benefits coming from that, meaning dahil because of online trade, no, and really kung ikaw nga naman prepaid ka, di ba? At you can actually build credit, no, your credit history kung ikaw kilala nila kung sino may hawak nung card itself, no. So it's really a matter of us, no, really looking at the risks and benefits of prepaid SIM cards, no, kasi I think, and this have changed in the last 10 years when it was first, when noong unang sinuggest ito, maraming bansa rin ang gumamit nito. No, sabi nila para daw sa krimen, no, sabi naman hindi naman nakakaano ng krimen yan dahil in Mexico, no, tinigil din nila kasi hindi naman daw nakakasolve ng krimen dahil yung mga kriminal hindi rin gumagamit din ng mga bogus na mga SIM card. So when you look at that situation, you're requiring everyone to register their SIM card, parang mas malaki yung risk, no, na papa-enlist natin sila at the same versus kung ano ba yung benefit nito, no, na hindi naman approved. But right now, there are because of the ubiquity now of online and the trade and commerce, no, and our lives is now directly connected, no, to our we have a larger digital life now. This may pose benefits, no, additional benefits. So we have to look into that, right?
So
we have to look into that.
This is becoming interesting.
Yeah.
Sir, related to that, there's also this technology about facial recognition.
Yun.
Will this be regulated? Will you look into this? Since many companies are starting to use this.
Yeah.
Even the government.
Alongside that, you have artificial intelligence again, generating that can an analysis of facial recognition, machine learning, ito yung mga bagong technologies that is being used, diba? So let me go back, no, to my I think a very foundational principle, diba? We are not anti-technology,
yes,
right? But what we are, I would say, wala kaming kumbaga kinakampehang teknolohiya. In 2004, nung lumabas yung biometric Chito, that was before. Ang akala ng lahat yun yung pinaka-intrusive, no, na privacy intrusive na technology, itong biometric, no. But as privacy jurisdictions, no, nobody never came out to condemn biometrics. But what we say is that, okay, if you're going to use this kind of technology, you have to be cognizant, no, ano pa ang risks that is attendant to this, and the possible benefit and the benefits, and then you come up with ways to mitigate it. Kasi just imagine, no, if privacy authorities would say na huwag itong technology na ito, hindi pwede itong technology na ito, no, that is actually again a backward stance, no? So here again we have facial recognition. We have to be circumspect dito sa technology na ito. Use it again. We have to look into the legitimate purpose of its use. And use it. We have to be empirical and evidence-based also in our decisions in employing technology. So there are, in fact, let me just state this, no, dito sa National Privacy Commission, we're opening up our own internal branch on regulatory sandbox or innovation. Kasi nga, when you say regulatory sandbox, there are technologies that can be useful and beneficial, right? Na dapat na hindi kami nandito para pigilan ito. Pero sige, tingnan natin ito, no? Ano ba ang benefits nito? But we really have to document it. Okay? At tingnan natin ano ba talaga ang best that we can squeeze out of this technology. So you see, our mandate is really two-pronged. yes, we are here to promote data subjects, data privacy rights, but also to ensure, and this is in our law, to ensure this free flow of information, right? So
Yeah.
again, facial recognition as a technology, it has benefits, it has risks, right? We just have to be spot on in assessing this risk through a privacy impact assessment. Okay, be sure about our purpose and be transparent. No? So every time na para yung mga tao walang gulatan no, na ginagamitan ng facial recognition.
Sir, last question. No, so I'm so sorry. I'm very glued to this conversation. So, what's your thoughts on deepfakes po?
Oh,
Deepfakes.
Yeah. Diba? Totoo yan, Vernon and Chito. No? I think Senator Recto even came up with a resolution on that. No? So these are again the these are I think this uses a new technology, right? It has its uses, no, for entertainment, no, but again, it now crosses yung the risk and threats, no, could also loom large, no.
Sir, sometimes porn.
Huh?
Sometimes porn, it's used in porn po.
Porn.
Deepfakes, yes, sir.
Right. So yun nga, no. So these are I think this technology again of deepfakes nagko-cross siya into fake news,
yes,
no? Into fake presentations, no? This is this is again a matter, that we are also looking into, looking at the security risks for this, but definitely there's reason also to be concerned about this type of technology, lalo na dito sa bansa natin, where people are in fact, statistically, Filipinos, I think, are now relying on online news, and news they get from digital to get their daily, dosage of news. So this is again very important that our citizens rely on reliable sources like you, like the Daily Tribune, the other media, established media outlets for their news, diba? Because you have that, you have that mechanism for verifying and checking the sources. So in this age of post-truths, no, dahil anybody can come up with anything. Now really the clarion call is we go to our own reliable news sources and news agencies like the Tribune. Now you're also done into digital. Dito na lang nila dapat kunin, at sa iba pang mga established media outlets that practice journalism ethics, diba? That has an ombudsman, that has a mechanism for redress, ganun po, no? And really now and I think dadagdag sa role ninyo ngayon is to spot this, no? This deep fakes, right? Because nobody else, no? Ang hirap masabi yung yung difference, di ba? So probably Chito and Vernon, it's now a new space where the legal media professionals, or even the established media outlets and centers like Daily Tribune could look into that too, meaning as a fact checker and a counter checker for this, no? So, may makita kayo na deep fake, di ba? Sabihin, hindi yan yung, especially kung ginamit halimbawa yung material ninyo. So this siguro just to tell you, the challenge of technology takes a whole of society approach, Vernon and Chito, right? Yes. Authorities, we are here, we have an enabling law, but at the end of the day, we try to build a culture of privacy and data protection sa lahat, ng miyembro ng lipunan. And this matter kind of is a whole of society. We have to tackle this as a whole of society. We promote the culture of data protection and privacy. We call on everyone to be again to be responsible users of data, to practice data or digital hygiene, to prevent risks and threats and harms. Diba? So this is a whole of society approach. This is a generational thing too, right? You are right now influencing so many of our millennials. You know, if we can create a generation of Filipinos that are aware of their rights, okay, that are cognizant that of their responsibilities as data controllers, as data users, because the phones that they have in their hands are really so powerful now that they can be their own producers, they can be their own editors, right? We have to influence an entire generation to be responsible data users. No? And the regulator cannot just do it by themselves. Right?
Can't
Right?
argue
Hindi
with
hindi
that.
po yun. So kasama po yung superstructure, the media, lahat po no, na ang gobyerno na ganun po. So again, we and I think you would even attest to this, no? Mas may heightened awareness sa mga tao natin. And Vernon, I'm impressed with your, you know, your insights to this, no? But I guess ganun po lahat na ng mga Pilipino, no? Or even our kids, no? Chito, di ba?
Right.
Lahat na on digital, right? But we can, it's our duty, right, to raise a generation now that are responsible users of data, and that a generation that aware that they have rights in this society, digital society.
Yeah, that's the keyword is responsible use of technology. Sir, on a related transparency issue, I just want to get your views regarding the Freedom of Information Act, which has been held in Congress for so long. Do you see this being approved or enacted into a law before the end of the term of the president?
I cannot, I cannot second guess what's in the mind of our erudite lawmakers.
But do you see it's
with
a
regard to this?
necessity, sir?
But again, let me just say this, that the Data Privacy Act serves to protect personal data, while at the same time the freedom of information ensures full and public disclosure of information. Right? But both rights are complementary and symbiotic, and both rights and both are significant in holding the government accountable to its citizens. No?
Correct. Yes.
So both are data privacy and FOI are essential features of democracy.
Yes.
And essential tools critical to serving the public interest. So those are fundamental features of a modern democracy. So that's why, you know, when the DPA, I best described it as a 21st century law promoting 21st century rights. Ganun din ang FOI. Okay? So strengthening both mechanism for establishing citizens' trust will always be a step in the right direction for a democratic country like us.
Okay.
Right? So, but FOI, again, if you will, if you expand and the DPA itself, di ba? They ride on the common aim of establishing the people's trust,
Correct.
right, in government. So yun po, no, at yun nga, at tayo po ay and FOI, is about sharing what the government has produced, di ba? Sharing it, and the DPA is about caring for data. So mga FOI and privacy is about the sharing and caring for data. So overall, again, we and I think we will get there at some point.
At some
But
point.
our government recognizes that both rights are essential, again, fundamental features of a modern democratic society. But let me add another element dito, Chito and Vernon, no, which I
Right.
think siguro ngayon ko lang sasabihin for sa Daily Tribune. What is also needed right now, and I've seen this in the pandemic response, no, is a data governance policy for government, no, on how we can best share data among agencies, no, to better come up with solutions and actionable data, no,
Right.
for responding not only to this pandemic, but probably even future pandemic, but other societal concerns. No? So it's a data governance framework. A data governance framework does not only, well, data governance is not only about the logistics of data, no? Kasi we have concerned ourselves, of course, rightfully so, in building the infrastructure for data, for data to flow. Diba? So lahat sa atin, from bandwidth to improving telecom services, so improving on the logistics of data. But right now, I think what is also very critical, vital, is the governance of data. Who decides? No, how do we decide on data itself? Right?
Correct. Yes.
Diba? How do we decide? Diba? Ito bang data nito? And this, it's not
This
only
is
about
other
personal data. It's not only about personal data, but how do we decide on data, and how can we best maximize its use by responsible sharing among government agencies? So yung pa yung nakita ko na I think it's a gap that we should try to address, right? On how governments, our agencies, can actively and responsibly share data, but more importantly, how to process this aggregated data for beneficial use by Filipinos and the society.
Correct.
Right. So FOI, DPA, and a data governance law probably would complete the
Well said,
the
sir.
mix.
Yeah.
Transparency mix.
Yeah. But sir, enough of the data. We're going to reap the lighter side of Commissioner Mon Liboro when we come back on Straight Talk.
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Oo nga naman, sir. Ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
You're watching
back.
Straight Talk with Commissioner Mon Liboro. So, sir, we're going to show you pictures and then you're just gonna give
We're now on
adjectives to those
the
pictures.
fun side of
Yeah.
the program.
Okay, Ren. National Privacy Commission. So,
That's
Yan na ba yun?
yeah, ayan na po yun. Adjective, sir. One word.
Modern regulator.
Yeah. Next.
Dependable deputy. another dependable.
Another.
The Daily Tribune.
Ah, a guiding light.
Guiding light. Nice. Next, sir. Pantries.
Bayanihan.
Bayanihan. Next. For that.
Single-minded focus.
Next.
Well,
Nothing too hard.
It's hard to think about.
silent worker.
Silent worker.
Okay. Yeah.
Compassionate
Yeah, sir.
leader.
Sir, it has been a pleasure having you with us
Yeah.
today, sir. Last word po.
First, thank you, Vernon and Chito, for this opportunity. As you can see, the NPC is one of the still the Benjamins in government. We try to essay our role as a modern regulator in these times. We know our place. We know the importance of data privacy in promoting a high trust and resilient society, so that we can have a trusted and enabled business environment where citizens trust government and businesses when they process their personal data. But as a young regulator, we have been recognized also in our approach, right? Globally, because we operate in a condition which is quite different from the rest. What I meant is that we are operating in a hyperscale environment too.
Right.
With 110 million Filipinos, 7,100 islands, and as a modern regulator, napakalaki nitong mandate na ito. But we are not backing off from this mandate. But to remind everyone, that we have a law that clearly establishes that you have rights, and for those who are users and controllers of data, that you have obligations under this law. And if we all assert our rights, and the companies comply with their obligations, diba? We have a more trusted society and resilient society to eventually, for a progressive and prosperous country. So right now, you're still in the middle of a pandemic. Okay, we have tried to be well. We have been an enabler and a protector during this time. Okay, and privacy again. And siguro iulitin ko lang, the pandemic and public health and privacy are on the same side. Okay, and the government will succeed in this pandemic response by upholding the privacy that citizens expect. So with that, I'd like to thank this opportunity again for Daily Tribune for giving me the stage, and we look forward for this solid partnership between the NPC and the Daily Tribune. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Raymund Liboro ng National Privacy Commission.
It's been an honor, sir, in having you in this program.
Regards to everyone there, especially to Larry.
Thank you po.
Larry.
And that's
Of
it
course.
for today's Straight Talk. My name is Vernon Velasco.
And I'm Chito Lozada.
Good day.